Hit me.
Quarantine everybody because of the generic type flu. Now, I'm not saying this is the generic type flu, but maybe we'd be just better off if we gave it to everybody, and then in a month it would be over, because the mortality rate of this probably isn't going to be any different if we did it that way than the long-term picture. But the difference is we're wreaking havoc on global and domestic economy.
Wow.
We are wreaking havoc on the economy because that's the important thing when it comes to the coronavirus.
Maybe it would be better if we all got the coronavirus.
The world would be if you try.
That's hilarious. And you can't actually find that video anymore.
No, so that video seems like it's been taken down by CNBC or Rick Santelli. So he's actually posted a an apology for what he said.
Oh, he backpedaled.
Yeah, he backpedaled on it.
Of course he did.
But that, when I first heard it, I thought there felt like there was some sort of underlying thing that he was saying. Wouldn't it be better if we just infected everyone?
Well,
Get it over with.
He was comparing it to what, like smallpox? Saying how if you expose people to it, then it might be better. Like people develop an immunity to it. But yeah, hilarious, the amount of fear mongering. But hey, can I ask you something? Have you bought your toilet paper?
Yes.
You have?
Only because I actually needed toilet paper.
Okay.
Like I just went to the shops normally to go do my normal a weekly shop and
Toilet paper there? Everything was okay?
No.
No?
No.
No toilet paper?
It was like fucking all gone. The only thing left were like these massive big... I only wanted, like maybe 10 rolls because, I buy once and I buy 5. The only thing left were like these massive big 20 fucking rolls or the like 6 rolls for $20, like the expensive, 6-ply super soft sort of stuff.
That's the heavy duty stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've been trying to ask... Well, we have a couple of friends that work retail in these sort of stores, trying to
work out what the fuck's going on.
Work out what's happening, because are people genuinely buying all this toilet paper, or is it kind of a false scarcity thing?
Well, it's happening around the world. I mean, they're talking about the shortage of toilet paper. I don't understand what it is about toilet paper, but apparently everyone's freaking out.
Yeah.
Everyone's shitting themselves, as I like to say, and buying up all the toilet paper.
Well, do you think it's because people are preparing for long stints at home? I feel like that could be partially it, right? But even then, you just take it from the Southeast Asians. Just use some water. Get a bidet.
Actually clean your asshole and not just smear that fucking shit over your ass.
Just mushing it into your asshole.
Mush it into your thing.
There has been news networks found to be taking photos of shelves that are empty.
Yes.
But intentionally not putting products on the shelves.
Yeah.
So making it look a lot more empty than it is.
Yeah, actually taking things off the shelf to make it look empty so they can do their report on low stocks and shortages and shit.
And it came out just really quickly that I can't remember where I saw it, but there was a certain library that leaked a pic of there being no library books as almost like a joke. Like, oh, look, people are borrowing all these books as well in preparation. That was actually literally a joke, and people started sharing that, going, look, libraries are getting ransacked, and it's amazing how people just take this stuff and run with it,
It's a prime example of just how, I want to say, sheepish people are, and they just buy up the mainstream media, and this hysteria snowballs into this massive big thing. And that's, I mean, part of me argues, okay, the coronavirus is one issue. The repercussions that are happening, and it's not just directly from the virus, it's the repercussions from other people, other repercussions. It's this ongoing snowball effect, and you start spreading this fear, and the next thing you know, you spread that fear to someone else, and then it just spreads into a global fear. And the number one culprit of spreading that fear is always the mainstream news. Mainstream media. We see it all the time.
Yeah. And we just saw it then with the guy saying that we should all get the coronavirus.
Yeah. because the economic problem is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing we have to think about, during a virus outbreak, is the economy, and the money. But It is. So the businesses are going under. Like economies are collapsing.
Stocks are plummeting.
Stocks are plummeting. Manufacturing places in China shutting down.
Mail, like shipments, delivery. All of that.
Airlines have shut down because the travel business is dead.
Definitely. Like, we got countries like Italy having full-scale lockdowns on a quarter of their population, allegedly. I'm not sure how all of this is being rolled out, but how the governments are reacting, way more substance in that than even the virus itself, you know?
There's two things, there's two sides of it. There's the public reaction, which is this whole hysteria, this panic, which has been essentially orchestrated by the mainstream media. And so, and one person freaks out, everyone freaks out. We know that. It's just a snowball effect of stupidity, sheepish behavior.
Yeah.
But then the government reactions, and I think this is what's going a lot under the radar. We've seen a lot of the censorship of the media. I think that was the last one we talked about, this whole disinformation where
definitely,
the World Health Organization was working with Google to manipulate search results and all that sort of stuff. But we're now seeing governments have these bringing in, I mean, especially in Australia, these biosecurity laws, which are apparently, I don't know when they developed them.
Allegedly there were already biosecurity laws in place from the past, but I think particularly in South Australia, they were talking about increasing that level of power of detention over suspected victims. Yeah,
what they call a last resort of forcibly detaining patients. Already to me that's a bit. As soon as you say forcibly detaining patients,
based on suspicion.
If you got a cough, you're fucked.
So, as you can see in this article here, 2015, they already had laws in place since then. So it's nothing new, but I think they were thinking of essentially increasing those powers to be able to detain.
But a lot of this, I mean, they talk about this, what they call social distancing restrictions. And look at everyone talking about now. I mean, we all know the common sense, wash your hands. We get taught that in primary school. But now this whole sort of teaching people not to shake hands. What do we see today? The L bump?
Yeah, the whole L bump that Jimmy Double M Kimmel is pushing. How there's this whole viral thing of bumping elbows rather than shaking hands. The whole fist bump thing now elbow bump. But how quickly that propagated! You've got like politicians and world leaders doing the L bump now.
Yes,
hashtag L bump.
But the thing that just drives me, because I mean we look at what we say social distancing through online social media, where we talk about how people are so disconnected because we all use our devices and no one actually calls people anymore to actually talk. They do, but now almost subliminally pushing this physical contact, this physical distance, and it's stupid.
And once again, it plays into the fear. Even though they're trying to have a sense of humor about it, ironically, they are pushing this culture creation of fear around the virus. And in this day and age where everything's a meme now, everything is condensed into these short little pictures and stuff like that, everyone gets a freaking brownie medal for how quick and witty their meme is. A statistic that is not really been focused on is the actual recovery rate of the infected, which is a lot higher, a lot higher than people think. Out of the how many total infected, I would say 70 to 80% have recovered.
Yeah, so this is the coronavirus COVID-19 global cases, which I want to quickly point out. I'm not sure if I said this on the last podcast. The whole, I mean, you could argue semantics over the naming structure, but the virus is not called COVID-19. The virus is SARS Corona 2. It's like SARS, the sequel, SARS 2, The Reckoning. That is the name of the virus. The disease that is caused by the virus is COVID-19. translated in Hebrew says Kobe.
Yeah.
But you could argue it's just semantics, but if I feel like when people write articles and when people talk about this virus, they talk about the COVID-19 virus. But if you don't even understand what you're saying, then what are you doing? You're just regurgitating the same information. You're just pushing that same fear.
It's propagating the misinformation.
Yes.
Right. And it's right from the get-go, a lot of articles are already kind of incorrect.
Yeah.
In the way that they're categorizing.
I've only actually in the last month read one article. It was an Australian article that referenced SARS-2, SARS-CoV-2 as the name of the virus.
The proper name for the virus.
The proper name for the virus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 is the disease that is caused by the virus.
Mm.
So it's just
good point.
It just drives me nuts. It's like people are we rely on this media. We rely on these people to give us this information, and if they can't even explain what it is they're talking about,
they can't even name it properly.
Then I discredit it straight away because you're a fucking idiot.
As you can see here, the total recovered is pretty big in relation to the amount of people that have been infected, and you don't see that number of people recovering from the disease at all.
You never hear about the recovery in any article, any news stuff. No one talks about the recovery rate,
even the mortality rate. When they do disclose a particular death as a result of the virus. They don't mention even the demographic or the age group.
Let's just run the numbers.
Okay, let's run the numbers.
The total confirmed cases around the world, 107,351. The total deaths, 3,646. So you hear that and you're like, well, 3,000, almost 4,000 people have died from this virus. Total recovered, 60,558. That's more than half of the cases.
Yeah, have recovered.
60,000 people have recovered, and you don't hear those numbers. You never hear them. People don't talk about those numbers.
No.
Okay, so this is the Worldometer. The Worldometer, which also has the population clock.
Yeah, so if you go to age and just scroll down a little bit, I just wanted to reiterate here in this chart, this is a lot of really good information here. No children have died from this virus. And if you look at the majority, it's predominantly male, over the age of 80, and I'll just cut to the chase, most of them with pre-existing respiratory diseases or they're already kind of ill or have a compromised immune system anyway.
Yes, so, the 80-plus years old is 14.8% of all cases is the death rate. And then...
Yep.
In the pre-existing medical conditions, cardiovascular disease, 10.5%, diabetes, 7.3%. So, we're talking, these are old people with pre-existing conditions, which, you cough on them without the virus, they're probably going to die. That sounds harsh, but, we're talking old people with existing conditions, their chances of survival in any condition is quite low.
Yeah, but they could equally be under threat from a common cold that progresses into pneumonia. Which
absolutely.
I do know quite a few people whose grandparents have died from pneumonia complications from a regular cold.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said in the first Corona episode, if you were to just disclose the figures of people dying from complications from those colds, you could really sell an epidemic. You could really sell, oh my God, 80,000, something like 60 to 80,000 people die of just the cold. So, very, very interesting. Once you break down the demographic of people getting sick and passing away from this, it really does kind of open your eyes to the fact that if you're healthy, if you wash your hands, okay, fine, I'm not a fucking doctor. Or a disease specialist or whatever, but it seems like you're probably very highly likely to recover from it if you got it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to get it. I wouldn't want to test it either.
No.
But I've had a couple of flus where I thought I was legit gonna die. I've landed in hospital because of my asthma, not not pneumonia, but chest-like problems, and
Yes,
then I
yeah.
had to be given, like steroid shots and antibiotics and stuff. And I could, like, a lot of people, like, look at that. Remember when the pollen storm happened in Melbourne?
Yes,
and people,
yeah.
and thunder. They called it thunder, something like a thunder asthma or something like that. No, seriously, because people with pre-existing asthma conditions actually died in Victoria when there was a massive thunderstorm, because allegedly all the pollen kicked up into the air and people breathed it in. It exacerbated their asthma, and they died on the way to hospital. A very, very real thing that happens, I would say, daily. That happens daily, you know? So...
Yeah, and I mean, I want to point out. I mean, this is going to sound pretty bad, the way I'm going to explain it, because everything I do does. But we're talking about 4,000 people, almost 4,000 people have died from this. I have about 100,000 people have been infected by this SARS-2. Of a population of 7.7 billion people. You know, you're more likely to be in a plane crash, which is unlikely. You're more likely to get eaten by a great white shark, even if you don't swim.
Statistically, you have more chances of being shot by a cop in America.
Yeah. I was talking to someone today, and said, he's like, those numbers, like, more people get shot in America. I'm like, in a single day, half the time.
Well, okay, I don't know about that.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't understand why people are getting... Well, I do understand why people are getting so hysterical and crazy about this, is because of the mainstream media. Because the mainstream media is trying to push this fear. They're trying to get people to go crazy. They're trying to crash the stock markets. They're trying to blame people like the Trump administration
for not doing enough, or not doing too much.
No matter what he does, they're going to blame him for it.
Well, yeah, it's always his fault, I guess.
I mean, well, it was his idea to not. Okay, so there's another cruise liner ship off California now.
What was the first one called again? The
Diamond Princess.
Diamond Princess, yeah.
Some people got off that plane, came to Australia, and started infecting people in Sydney.
The boat?
From the boat, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But now there's another cruise liner off California, and Trump's turning around saying, let's not leave them on the boat. Let's not bring them into America. Let's leave them on the boat. And people are going crazy about it. And didn't I? And I think in the last podcast, I'm not sure if we cut it out when I was going into a rant about the Qantas flight bringing people into Australia directly from Wuhan. I was like, you're better off just not bringing them into the country. Otherwise, you're going to risk infecting everyone else. And look what fucking happened. Yeah, look what is happening.
Now, and we I think we did cut that off, but we actually, we mentioned the bizarre flight. Sorry, let me try that again. We mentioned the bizarre flight path of how they went through the Northern Territory out of basically staying in international waters, right? Got flown directly to Harold Holt.
Exmouth, yeah.
Exmouth, or an Air Force base.
Well,
just near Harold
Learmonth.
Yeah, Learmonth, that's right. Yeah, the Learmonth radar went down as well.
Yeah.
But how you were just saying how you have way more potential to spread the virus when you put people in these small vans and travel, put them around the place. And then after all that, you lump all these potentially infected people into a detention center where they're sharing showers and sharing, canteen space. Yeah. And people are being herded into these small camps. Like, it seems to me like you're more likely to get the virus in detention.
Yeah. But at the end of the day,
out and about.
At the end of the day, they should have left everyone in China, every man for themselves. But every country's trying to be, we care about our people. We're going to bring all the potentially infected people back to our own countries. And now Australia's getting fully infected. Half of Europe's fucked. America's all fucked. The world's getting fucked because of what they did. And they're trying to blame people like Trump for saying, let's not bring them into the country. And then one of the health ministers in the US went and behind his back and brought these people into the country, which started to infect everyone. And then people blame Trump for not doing anything. I
know. Everyone will always use this as a political platform for sure. Yeah. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, like, do you remember those people that refused to come back?
Yeah.
There were Australians who were like, we are
okay,
not going to Christmas Island.
I can stay in Wuhan or I can go to Christmas Island.
I'll
Fuck
take Wuhan.
that.
I'll take Wuhan. You're probably safer just sitting there doing nothing than being lumped into a detention center with other infected people, you know.
So, I mean, they're saying that this virus is now mutating as well.
Mutating, yeah.
It can now be transferred through fecal matter. Maybe that's why everyone's buying the toilet paper. They knew. I think people saw it coming and they saw,
potentially.
It's going to be through our shit, so we better stop eating our shit.
Now, you see some articles coming out now. Can my cat or dog get infected with the disease? Like, greyhounds are getting infected with this disease.
Well, I mean, they were.
They were, yeah.
There was articles saying that greyhounds... But then again, like... And this is your argument is how do you prove that the virus that they are getting is this SARS-2 virus?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they bring out these computer graphic images showing the virus, and some photos of
color images with yellow crowns and red cells.
There are some photos which I'm sure they can take photos of this sort of virus bacteria through their microscopes and stuff. But what differentiates SARS and SARS-2? I mean, and like you're saying, a common cold. The symptoms are similar. The shit happens, and people die from it. But how? And it just seems in my mind so easy for the mainstream media to turn around and say that anyone that dies from a similar symptom, and just blame it on this COVID-19 disease.
Absolutely, yeah. And so many things that come into play make it harder and harder to distinguish, the time delay factor. People saying that they got reinfected after getting over it. But then you think, well, that kind of happens with the common cold as well. How many times have we been sick and then we're okay for a week? And then you kind of come back with the symptoms again, like a week later. I mean, is that really bad? Are they overhyping that? But yeah, people getting reinfected. So getting over the disease and then getting reinfected.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from the virus. I mean, it's back to what the governments are doing, and especially with here in Australia. We've been announced this multi-billion-dollar stimulus package.
Remember the first stimulus package?
What was that for?
I can't remember. I got like $500 or something.
I don't know. I don't know what it was for.
Yeah.
So now they're suddenly just pulling money out of their asses.
Oh, just quickly. Sorry, no, that was for the alleged recession, the GFC.
The GFC,
yes.
Yeah. So, the world ran out of money, so they gave us all some money.
So they made more fake money and gave it to us. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's what you're seeing now. So Australia is doing a stimulus package. I don't know where they're getting the money from. They're probably getting it from the bushfire relief that they never gave to anyone.
Yeah, because they can't account for like $18 million.
And I mean, and you see with the stock markets crashing, the same thing is going to happen. Is when these businesses go under, they'll probably be bought out by other businesses. Consolidation, or they'll swap hands.
Mm-hmm.
And
you look at all these CEOs stepping down. Now that's a whole other podcast, but the timing is impeccable, right?
It's the same shit, and I can't understand how there's so many people out there that just buy into it. Yeah. Like they just buy into it and they don't stop and go, oh, wait, hang on, this happened a while ago, or this happens quite often.
Well, they don't look into any of it. They do not look into any of it.
They just don't care. They deserve to be fucking infected.
Well,
okay, I'll probably cut that. But I mean, this article popped up the other day for me, and they're talking about almost bringing back RFID chips.
Remember that whole Mark of the Beast thing? How everyone thought that RFID was the end of the world.
and then it just the whole idea of RFID chips went away. It just disappeared. And now it's coming back. They're talking about the RFID chips again, and they're talking about essentially with this virus, they're introducing these tracking systems where they can track people, suspected patients, and the security, the surveillance is just increasing beyond the George Orwellian freaking idea.
And it seems like all these seemingly unrelated advancements in tech are all kind of working together. Like I see this with, call me crazy, but I tie in this to things like Neuralink and 5G and mass surveillance. And then you couple that with China's whole socialist credit score.
Yeah, it just popped up. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. How I do think that is a model for the future,
Yeah,
where
credit score.
if you are blacklisted, you do not get to buy and sell.
The three things: social credit scores, facial recognition, CCTV networks, and government-controlled internet. That is what China has.
That is China's model that is coming here to the
And-
rest of the world.
I mean, that's where this whole critical thinking comes into play when you're talking about what's happening to China and how China is being affected by this, where you could argue, well, this is the business model that other people want, but they want to be in control of it, so they need to find a way to kick China out of it so they can take over.
But what it's really should really also be shining a light on is just how much production is based in China. And a lot of people are saying, in a weird way, the phoenix rising from the ashes could be, the good side of this could be that every country starts to develop stuff in their own countries, in a way. Because you look at how much stuff, especially tech-wise, is all built in China.
Yeah. Well, it's built in China. But a lot of it
yeah.
gets designed
Elsewhere, and then you let the ants do the work. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, but that's gonna, it's gonna push that like, it's that it's a distraction model as well.
Yeah.
Where you sort of give the idea that we can now do stuff ourselves, or we can rebuild. We can be better people by not running sweatshops in China. We can be better people by developing new green energy or safer, healthier systems, GMO foods. We can do it. I mean, well, that's probably a bad one. But we can develop this new safe world, and it makes everyone focus on this good idea. We can do this. I feel hope. But at the same time, okay, we're also going to install a lot of security cameras. We're going to start facial recognition. We're going to track all your movements. We're going to censor the internet.
It's a bait and switch.
We're going to give you all these vaccines. We're not going to tell you what's in them. We're going to do all this but because people are so focused, because people now realize, we can survive this virus. We can live. We can sustain life, but they're not looking at what's going on behind them.
Well, they're along with it. They are indirectly accepting a whole control system, along with that utopian vision of a better future.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of manufacturing being moved to India, places like that now. Like people are moving away from China. You see NASA putting out images of the decrease in nitrogen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't want to go into the climate change, but they've changed it. CO2 is no longer the bad thing. It's now NO2.
Oh, it's NO2, yeah. But NASA now pushing the look at how much healthier it is now that everything is shut down there,
Well, it's really trying to... It's fucking racist is what it is. No, it's seriously... to me, it feels like they're just trying to push the idea that the Chinese people are dirty, that they're scoundrels, they're manipulative, they're just immoral people,
and also and kind of and big polluters and stuff, which I guess they are.
Yeah,
they are. They definitely are.
But the only reason they have these big manufacturing, the reason they are polluting, is because the other countries are telling them to do it for them.
And look at all of the countries now taking that hit to their fucking stocks and shit.
Yes.
Because they can't build anything. Yes. You pull out the keystone, it all comes down, right? So everything's just based there.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when there genuinely is an actual shortage? That's why I find it funny, people running around screaming about toilet paper while they have shelves of food everywhere. There's food and water everywhere, but we're beating people up. There's that one video, people literally, the two ladies like fucking hitting each other over toilet paper. It's crazy. It is crazy, but
just like I know, I've got a
interesting times.
stash of KFC wet wipes. It's
That's
gonna.
going to be the new currency, man.
I'm just gonna wash them and reuse them.
It'll be interesting to see what happens from this, because I feel like the way that everything, like we were saying before, so quickly focused just on the economy, just the money factor, like is very
But again,
telling about
yeah.
what the agenda might be.
Yeah.
It's economical, I think.
And I think people need to notice that. People need to take note. I mean, I feel like so many people are waking up, and it fucking makes me glad that people are waking up.
They're the silent majority.
Yes, but not to buy into the media's bullshit.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that are still buying into it.
Absolutely.
There's people that are freaking out.
And do you know what? Do you know who suffers at the end? The bottom. You know that the people at the bottom.
The people that are freaking out and buying all the toilet paper are the ones that are suffering, because they're the ones that are causing more damage to themselves.
Well, what I was more saying was, like, at the end of the day, the people that are fighting amongst, it's all the bottom 99 that are fighting amongst each other, not knowing that they're still being shafted by the same people over and over and over. And it's just getting us used to being in little teams that fight amongst each other. You know, whether it be the whole racial thing happening now, you know, kids in America, Asian American students in America getting beat up on suspicion of carrying the virus, like literally just because they happen to have a Chinese background. Like stuff like that is really...
Yeah.
But remember, we saw the same thing in 9/11. Everyone was getting all weird around Middle Eastern people.
Yep.
Like, it's fucking so divisive how the people at the top get the bottom 99 to just fight with each other constantly. And we can't mobilize if we're fighting with each other. Don't buy into it. Don't buy into the hate. And remember how we were saying... It's funny how all the red-pilled woke people are the ones that are calm and just calm, and like it's like we were fucking born for this shit.
Yeah.
We're just gonna look at the facts and just keep our knives and our toilet paper ready, but we're not gonna say shit, right? We're just gonna watch people fight each other, you know. And all the other people are like, "What do? We've never felt anything like this before."
I mean, we've only been through it 10 times before, but we still don't know what's going on.
But who are these people freaking out? I don't know a single person that has done a massive toilet paper run.
No.
I feel like that. I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. A lot of it is just psychological, man.
Yep.
Stay safe. Wash your hands. I'm a big advocate of the L bump.
Oh, fuck the album. I was been shaking people's hands. I've been giving people hugs.
You've been making out with strangers.
It's just on the side of the road, you know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Take care, everybody.